What's going on, guys? Welcome to Keepin' It Comic, and it is finally here. DC's K.O. And we start off with Superman gearing up, as we get some monologue that says, here in the dark, in the moments before it begins, he tells himself, it's just another fight. A brawl like countless ones before. A contest. A game to win. Hell, for this one, everyone even got to bring their own gear. Clark brought the Knuckles. He forged them in the fortress years ago. After returning from the dead, Knuckles with miniature suns raging inside, angry suns taken from empty universes. He thought about calling them Dawn's Day Knuckles, but Lois shut that down fast. Even so, with them, he's stronger, faster, ready to throw down. He's fought in other dimensions, other universes, fought gods, titans. What's one more fight? And then the door opens. And Soup's like, what the? But before we get to this point, this starts back when Clark, Diana, and Bruce are having just a simple game night. And Soups is like, 2 spaces. 1, 2. And Diana says, womp womp, go back a row, Clark. Green is kryptonite. And he responds, kryptonite, Diana? Seriously? She says, I didn't make the rules. Oh, look, Batmobile boost. Go ahead 3 spaces. Nice. And Clark says, and why are all the power-ups bat-themed? Who made this thing? Give me the box. M. Malone. Enter Bruce. And you can see the grin on his face. Yo, Bruce Wayne is so petty. But look, this was a game night put together by Lois. And in the middle of this game night, she looks outside and says, guys, why is it so bright out? And suddenly, he's just there. Darkseid, the hero's oldest and greatest foe. Maybe the most familiar enemy they have. But this Darkseid has become something else. He isn't just bigger, stronger. He's everything. A universe of power, given form. Everywhere he looks, the city becomes his. No, Clark thinks. Not his. It becomes him. Clark can see it happening. Every particle, every molecule, every atom is now Darkseid. As they charge him, Clark tells himself, they've done this before. They've fought him dozens of times and won. But deep down, he can feel it. This is different. And when he looks at his friends, he knows they feel it too. And this shot of Darkseid is friggin' incredible. And the monologue continues. Because the being out there, he exists beyond physics. And somehow, everywhere at once. He's more than a god. He's all godliness. He's all magic and sorcery. He is all the wonder and terror of the cosmos. And you can see he is simultaneously just wreaking havoc on everybody. See, Darkseid has finally become what he is meant to be. The end of everything. Bruce falls first. Then Diana. Now, as Clark rockets towards Darkseid at Mark 7, he hears a sound he's never heard. A horrible sound that stuns him. Stuns him so badly, he barely feels the blast from Darkseid. The blast that ends him. And Superman's like, when does this happen? And we jump to a scene where we see the Justice League in front of the Quantum Quorum. And in case you're not familiar, that's the World Forger, Time Trapper, aka, I guess you would say a semi-decent Doomsday, Grodd, and Booster Gold. So Superman says it again. I said when. Time Trapper responds. It already did, Kal-El. And Soup's like, what? Just then, Batman shows him his phone. And it is a text from Lois that says, reminder, game night in 1 week, our place, no excuses. Time Trapper then takes the time to explain. He says, we of the Quantum Quorum have managed to combine our chronal powers to rewind time by 7 days. But Darkseid has already conquered the future. And right now, he's making his way back through time to this moment. Someone says, and go on, how do we stop him this time? And he simply responds, this time you don't. World Forger, show them. And he continues, the timeline before you is the history of our universe. The flame just ahead of this moment is him. We explored every variation, and no matter what you try, he consumes you and moves on. It all ends here, in this moment, with the Darkseid. Someone's like, there's gotta be something we can, and Grodd's like, nope. Green Lantern's like, nope. Booster, come on. And Booster chimes in, Hal, we've watched you try 1,000 things 1,000 times. You always lose. From what we've seen, there's only one thing you can do. And he says, what's that? And Time Trapper says, give up and start over. And Wonder Woman's like, what do you mean start over? And he explains, we are the most powerful temporal beings in the universe. And if we use the last bit of our energy, we might be able to, and Mr. Terrific chimes in, create a new timeline for us. You can't be serious. Time Trapper continues, very serious, Mr. Terrific. Not that long ago, a being did this very thing here, at this inflection point. Restarted you all. Restarted everything and everyone. Eventually, this timeline was reabsorbed, but for a brief period, it existed outside larger reality. And I love how they're taking a shot at the whole new 52 reset that they did. I think that's pretty cool. But look, everyone's having their issues with this because we all know how time travel is and restarts, and no one's happy with this. But Batman being Batman is like, enough. We need to understand what we're up against. Quorum, how did Darkseid become this? And Time Trapper explains, to understand him, you must understand what he seeks. Our universe is full of mysterious energies, but since its inception, its two most primal are the twin energies we call Alpha and Omega. Alpha is the energy of creation, wild and explosive. Nearly all planets with life are sources of alpha energy, but not Apocalypse. At Apocalypse's core is an infernal machine, a heart that runs on Omega energy, the energy of conquest, absorption, control. And when Darkseid sought it eons ago, it chose him as its champion and transformed him into the enemy you have fought so many times. From that moment on, he has sought to turn Earth, reality's greatest source of alpha energy, into a new apocalypse. And so when he formed his new universe, he placed a heart of Apocalypse in its primordial Earth center. All Omega energy in that realm flows to him, making him absolute. Thus, he has become the universe's King Omega, the personification of its Omega energy, a walking singularity that transforms all around him. Batman's like, hold on, if there's a heart of Apocalypse forming at the center of our Earth right now, could we use it to transform one of us into something like him, a King Omega? Wonder Woman's like, that's an idea. And Grodd's like, a terrible effing idea. Yo, I just imagine that in Grodd's voice, a terrible effing idea. But Time Trapper's like, impossible. The heart is cosmically connected to Darkseid. It serves him only. To change that, you need to restart it entirely. Blast it with Omega energy you don't have. And Batman says, no, but Booster does. Watchtower readings show him brimming with it from being trapped with Darkseid for years. He can use that power to blast the heart, cosmically defibrillate it. And Booster's like, I don't think you comprehend what you'd be unleashing. Batman's like, so show us, World Forger. And he does that. And he says, you must understand the heart is a living thing, sentient, reborn. It would immediately seek a champion, someone fueled by conquest, and conquest only. You all are heroes. You're, and Grodd interrupts, soft as hell. Yo, Grodd has no chill. But Time Trapper's like, even hungry and new, it would not let your kind near it. It would defend itself. It's fourth dimensional, not bound by our physics. By my calculations, it would reshape itself to test you, create a tournament. Each of these rings would be a higher level of challenge. Flash is like, we can take on some measly parademons. Grodd's like, not parademons, idiot. Each other. You would be competing with each other. Soups is like, what? And World Forger explains, yes, it would be a competition to find an ultimate conqueror among a champion. To prove you're worthy, one of you would have to defeat all the others, and then defeat the heart itself. Then, the universe will bend toward you. You will become the sole celestial entity, a being perhaps capable of facing Darkseid. Batman's like, and this person, if they do defeat Darkseid, they could bring it all back on the other side. Everyone and everything lost. Booster Gold says, I mean, in theory, whoever wins should be able to reshape the universe however they want. Time Trapper's like, why are you encouraging this? And Booster's face says it all. He's like, because I saw this terror that he is. Time Trapper. I was held prisoner in that absolute realm for years, eons, and maybe the only thing that can stop him is someone like him. Time Trapper's like, fine then. Answer me this, heroes. The heart responds only to Omega energy, the energy of conquest. Every ring you enter will test you further in strength, cunning, strategy. And to prevail, you must fill the heart's fire pits to match Darkseid's power. That means you must compete only to win. No mercy, no compassion. Can you truly do that? And as they all look around, Soups is like, forget it, we're not doing this. But as Batman and Wonder Woman go to talk to Superman and try to convince him into this, Superman thinks of something different. See, what he thinks about is the moment he charged Darkseid and the terrible sound, the one that stopped him in his tracks. It was the sound of every heart on Earth suddenly doing the same thing, not stopping or dying, but falling into unison. People, fish, birds, bugs, the whole strange, wonderful mess of it aligning in a single rhythm, Darkseid's. So they convince Superman to do this, and they come up with a 7-day plan to make this work. And what do they do on day one? Well, they secure the villains. That way they can't be selected for this tournament. Modified T-Spheres are sent to a list of the world's most dangerous criminals. Terrific hates what they're about to do, but he also knows that this is about as fair as they can be right now. The T-Spheres re-enter the atmosphere silently, each homing on its target. Any criminal who the Watchtower assigned a power level of 6 or higher is targeted. Some are already locked up. Others are hidden from sight. All are taken off the game board. On the second day, the heroes meet with the world leaders. They select Superman to be the voice of them. And on the third day, Superman addresses the world. And he basically explains to them like, look, I am the last survivor of my planet, and I will fight to the death for this one. I will not lose, and I will not allow this planet to be destroyed or taken over by Darkseid. Everyone spends their fourth day with friends and family, just taking everything in because they know the battle that's coming up. Not everyone's going to survive. And this is going to be a battle of all battles. And on the fifth day, they prepare for the tournament. They go to war rooms, to bunkers, and secret vaults and choose their gear. Some go on the offense. Others go for strategy. A few choose defensive measures. Others, like Clark, just choose what feels right. On the sixth day, it's time. With the villains locked away and the world fortified and prepared, they set off. Many of them are selfless. Some are more complicated. Humans, aliens, gods, monsters. Over 100 of the world's heroes in all. They're friends. Many are more than friends. But right now, they're heading to compete with one another in a tournament without mercy. The closer they get, the less real it feels. And suddenly, they arrived at the passage to the center of the Earth, where the heart of Apocalypse is. Wonder Woman's like, all right, Booster, you ready? And he's like, you're joking, right? Okay, folks, let's cause a cosmic heart attack. And he blasts that thing with Omega energy. Now, the blast is just enough to stop the heart for no more than a few hundred zeptoseconds. Blink time. But it's enough. When the heart begins again, blink, and new and terrible, the first thing it sees is them, the heroes rocketing towards it. To welcome them, it gives them each a miraculous vision. Each hero suddenly sees themselves win. Blue Beetle, Detective Chimp, Aquaman. Every single one of them feels what it would be like to become the Heart's champion, the soul god, to have the universe bend to them. No more than bend. To have it reform around their ideas, their beliefs. They see the good they could do. So much more. But just as quickly as it appeared, the vision vanishes, gives way to darkness. and they each look around to find themselves waiting at the arena gates. And just like that, the tournament is upon them. And this brings us right back to when Superman was like, what the? Because he flies in and he sees 3 gatekeepers. And they're like, get back, wait for all combatants. Those of you who crossed the gauntlet early shall move on, the rest perish. But beware, one wrong step and you may find yourself out. The contest begins at the drop of the Hell Mace. And we see Billy there who's like, well, looks like we'll finally get to see who'd win, Superman or the Captain. Oh, you're going down, Big Blue. And right as he says Shazam, the malice drops and the guy says, you may begin. Superman instantly knocks a tooth out of him. He's like, that's right, come on, pick on someone your own. And I think he was going to say size, but they're not the same size. But then he's shot in the back. And Bruce is like, Clark, get your damn head in the game. And as all of our heroes go charging in, we can start seeing all the booby traps going off. Even Adam Strange is like, tell Alana But Superman has to remind himself, this is just a game. And up ahead, Jay Garrett is racing towards the glowing portal, marking the end zone, when he steps on the trap that triggers their arrival, the Omega Demons. And you can see it is a straight bloodbath right now. Everyone is just going at it. And then, who do we see? None other than Lobo. But at this time, it's too hectic. I mean, Clark throws himself at the Omega Demons. Heat vision, freeze breath, punches. The knuckles burn. He tells himself he's doing it, competing. But if you look at him, really look, he's not. Behind him, heroes begin to cross the finish line. In the shadows, the fire pits hiss angrily. Because without even realizing it, Clark is hanging back instead of blasting through. He's clearing the way for his friends. More make it through. 5, 10. The portal begins to shrink. Clark fights on. 15 are through. The portal shrinks further. It occurs to Clark that he hasn't seen Bruce cross yet, which surprises him. If anyone was going to make it through, and then we see Bruce. Superman, focus. You need to stay sharp. All points attended as Batman is stabbed through the back and Clark is blasted off his feet. And when he looks up, he sees all the villains are there. And as Batman starts to disintegrate in front of him, he says, remember what I said. How did the villains escape? How did they get there? Clark has no time to figure it out. It only takes them moments to rush the finish line. But before Lex crosses, Lex turns to Superman and smiles. There's something in Lex's smile. It takes Clark a moment to realize that it's pity. It's a smile that says, go save a effing cat from a tree. But this? Leave this to us, Boy Scout. He thinks back to game night, to Bruce's words. His fists curl. And then, no one knows what hit them. The Titans, the Omega Demons, the heart itself. In Superman's ears is a new sound as he blasts through, like sun splitting open. But it's not the impact of his fist or him breaking the barrier of physics. It's the pounding of a single heart in his ears, his own. And as he crosses the finish line and takes the last spot, all around the fire pit singe. And you would think by now Lex Luthor of all people would know not to piss off Superman. But for whatever reason, he decides to do it anyway. But anyway, now, behold your 32 champions. Who will win and be crowned King Omega? Can you guess? And we finally get to see who's been narrating this story. And can I just warn you, things are about to get very hectic and exciting. Because it says, I can tell you the answer now if you'd like. I am the Heart of Apocalypse after all. The one who crowned Darkseid so long ago. So yes, I know who will join the ranks of the fallen. I know all the twists and turns that await them. So many. The surprises coming. Like his 3 destroyers, horsemen, from a world where his rule is absolute, monsters. And these are just some of the horrors that await. But if you want to know the real truth, the final one, I'll tell you. It's that none of them win. Not Clark, not Diana, not Marie, or Eel. None. And hold the phone. Because if you've been keeping up, you know that is absolute Superman Absolute Batman, and Absolute Wonder Woman. This is getting friggin' crazy. They're the horsemen of Doomsday. And it continues, because what they don't know is there is one last champion among them, the king himself. That's right, Darkseid, having taken the form of one of their own. So no, friend, the game isn't beginning. It's already over. And oh my, what is going on here? When in the world did Darkseid take over Booster Gold? Like, this is friggin' incredible. Seeing the absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman who we've seen and grown to love being so dark, being like the Horsemen, and they're in this tournament somehow, is about to be insane. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if our current universe heroes can deal with all this. This is incredible writing. Now look, I understand this is just my opinion, but the Absolute Universe has been cooking. DC is clearly using the Dragon Balls to write these, and I am all for it. Listen, let me know your thoughts in the comment. Were you excited about this? Are you excited for what's to come? Who do you think is going to win? What do you think is going to happen? I need to know what all of you guys are thinking. I'm so excited, I'm stuttering. And hey, if you've been rocking with these breakdowns, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and check out keepinitcomic.com. It's the best way to support the channel. Plus, we just dropped some new merch you don't want to miss. And don't forget to hype this video using YouTube's new hype feature. It really helps push our content to more and more people, and we've clearly been seeing it. You guys have been great at doing this so far, and we appreciate it. As always, thanks for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, if I'm not in a tournament myself.